Today's presentation is part of a requirement for the course GKS1001 Volunteerism by University of Malaya. So the objective of today's presentation is to raise awareness so that more people can be more aware of volunteerism and start to join the volunteer activities available. Moving on, the learning objective of today's presentation is first, to understand volunteerism and be able to know its advantage. The next one is be aware of your important qualities to be a volunteer. And lastly, know the organizations available for volunteerism in Malaysia. So, what is volunteerism? Volunteering is generally considered an altruistic activity and is intended to promote goodness or improve human quality of life. In return, this activity can produce a feeling of self-worth and respect. There is no financial gain involved for the individual. Volunteering is also renowned for skill development, socialism, and fun. Volunteering may have positive benefits for the volunteer as well as the person or community served. Volunteer is donating the time, labor, and talent to causes of social and community interest and thus improve the community's quality of life. Being a volunteer is denying individualism, denying exclusion, and stop being competitive and contribute to the collective success. Being a volunteer put to the side and not to the front or behind. It is a learning throughout life. A volunteer who helps easily accepts to be helped, who offers to help is aware that a united hand that the other has a multiplier effect. Moving on to the advantages of volunteering, there are plenty indeed. The first one is to provide a sense of life for the volunteer. The next one is to more productive in a professional activity and discover new skills and competencies within self. Besides that, one can obtain new knowledge by volunteering. For example, the culinary skill, and so on. The next one is the development of leadership skills. Not to mention increased enthusiasm, and lastly, the expansion of sense of citizenship. So, what does it take to be a volunteer? What is the quality that you have to have in order to be a volunteer? Well, you need to have responsibility. You need to be responsible for the activity undertook to accomplish, given the expectations and created to the recipients of volunteer work. You need also to have the convergence, which is voluntary action on harmonization with the culture and objectives of the promoter. Next, complementary. The volunteer should not replace the human resources of the promoters. Moving on, solidarity. Responsibility of all citizens in realizing the voluntary purposes. Next, the participation, which is intervention of volunteers and promoters in areas of social interest. Cooperation, coordination of efforts and entities promoting voluntary projects. And lastly, no charge, not nominated for exercising volunteering. So there are plenty of volunteer organizations in Malaysia. For example, the MAGNA, which is stand for Majelis Cancer national. Born in 1994, Magna is a non-profit social enterprise that mobilizes resources in order to provide curative, preventive, research and support services to cancer patients and their families. Every year, they help over 10,000 patients. That's around 28 people per day. A seed once planted by Dato Muhammad Farid Arifin is now a tree of meaning to others. Is how the heroes from Magna describe this amazing organization. Moving on, WWF Malaysia, which stands for Worldwide Fund for Nature. Well, did you know that they started as a two-person organization? And today, they have close to 200 people. WWF's mission is to stop the degradation of the planet's natural environment and to build a future in which humans live in harmony with nature. By conserving the Earth's biological diversity, ensuring that the use of renewable natural resources is sustainable, and promoting the reduction of pollution and wasteful consumption. So, if you are an outgoing and enthusiastic person with a passion of volunteering for wildlife and the environment, you might want to consider WWF Malaysia. The next one is Mercy Malaysia, which stands for Malaysian Medical Relief Society. During the raging war in Kosovo in 1999, thousands of lives were lost, and suffering was everywhere. That was when Dr. Jamila Mahmud was moved to volunteer with the medical services. She then formed the Malaysian Medical Relief Society with some like-minded friends, because no organization at that time was ready to support the international crisis. In the last 2 decades, they have reached out to over 32 countries and provided humanitarian services such as rehabilitation and recovery, mitigation and prevention, and preparedness. Mercy also helps out in daily administrative work or field missions in disaster-affected areas. The next volunteer organization in Malaysia is the World Vision Malaysia. It is an international Christian humanitarian organization dedicated to working with children and families to overcome extreme poverty and injustice. They promote human transformation, seek justice for the oppressed, and demonstrate the love of God for everyone, regardless of religion, race, ethnicity, or gender. It was founded in 1950 by Dr. Bob Pierce, and today they have over 45,000 staff members worldwide working diligently to provide humanitarian support to the poor and oppressed. Lastly, the volunteer organization that I'm going to introduce in this presentation is Impact Malaysia. Impact Malaysia envisions a sustainable and measurable social impact ecosystem driven by youth to bring meaningful and lasting change in communities. They are able to bridge this gap of social change using three things. First, impact through technology, which connect youths to non-profit technological solution providers and eventually getting them to transfer skills to communities. The second, which is the impact through community. This enables community-based and community-driven social projects, especially by youth. And lastly, impact through businesses. allocating funds and manpower of businesses to communities. That's all for the sharing today. Hope you like it.